Assalamu alaikum students. Today the topic of discussion is reading comprehension skills. I am your ma'am Ms. Sadia Qureshi, Assistant Professor in English from the Bahimahal College, Bahawalpur. Today we are going to talk about that why reading comprehension is so important. If we are given a paragraph to evaluate, we need to know the textual meaning of that paragraph. For this, we need to go through the paragraph carefully and need to know that what is the message that is given there. This paragraph will also talk about the essence of the discussion, and we need to know the essence of the discussion in the sense that if we want to get the whole meaning of the paragraph, the whole essence of the paragraph will be given somewhere in the first 2-3 lines or in the last 2 or 3 lines. Now we talk about the next point, that is the message that is given there in the paragraph. Reading comprehension is also important to diagnose the message that is given there in the paragraph. And for this, vocabulary is very important. If you're good at vocabulary, you're going to get all the meanings of the difficult words and they will help you to comprehend the passage carefully. If you find that you have difficulties in, finding out the meanings of some difficult words, you can take help from the dictionary, but that is only a practice, but you cannot take help from the dictionary in your exams obviously. So I would suggest that everybody buys a dictionary or install a dictionary app in your mobile phones. Knowledge is also increased by doing reading. When you start reading, you start comprehending most of the things that you do not know, and for this you think that there are some things which were unknown to you and now you feel more confident after reading them. This confidence gives you a kind of edge in the discussions for your future life. Whenever you find difficulty in discussing something in your future life, you go back to your past and think that you knew this or you read this or you have heard this somewhere in your life, and then you find this confidence in yourself that you can discuss it among the people. Reading comprehension also gives you help to evaluate yourself better. This evaluation can be in terms of getting the textual meaning of the paragraph, or getting the essence of the paragraph, or how good you are at getting the message of the paragraph, or if your vocabulary is strong or weak, or if you can have more knowledge about this context that is given in the paragraph, or if you have much knowledge about this idea that is discussed in the paragraph, or do you find this paragraph helpful for your future life or discussions or not. So evaluate yourself better, and always think about it that whatever you are reading will always help you in your future life. Now we are going to talk about that there are some ways to improve your reading comprehension. First of all, there is something that is very important. You need to have concentration whenever you are reading something. Concentration requires soundless atmosphere, no distraction, nobody talking around, or maybe the whole attention of your mind and heart. When you give more attention of your mind and heart towards something that is written in front of you, you're better to evaluate and comprehend it in a nice way. I would suggest that a finger or a pencil to develop focus while reading is better way to comprehend something. Always have a pencil in your hand, and whatever words that you find difficult, always underline them. Afterwards, you will come to know that these were the things that you were finding difficult, and you can go through a dictionary, or you can reread them so that you can have a better understanding of them. Initial reading speed should also be slow to grab the difficult parts of the text and the meaning as a whole. So in the start, you need to know that if you are going to read something in a very quick way, you're not going to grab the whole meaning of that thing. So initial speed while reading is slow, or should be slow, so that you may know the whole meaning of the paragraph. Increase your speed gradually, because the first 2 or 3 lines have the quick meaning or the essence of the paragraph. Afterwards, you can increase your speed. Read the first 2 or 3 sentences carefully, because the essence of the paragraph will be found there. So highlight any line that you are finding important, and in the text for further consideration you will come back to these highlighted areas, and you will find them that they are very helpful for you in the future consideration. The next part that we are going to talk about is that if you want to govern the main theme of the text, you need to read the first two or three lines, or you need to go to the last two or three lines to grab the whole meaning of the paragraph. Because most of the times the basic idea is written in the first two or three lines of the paragraph, and the conclusion is written in the last two or three lines of the paragraph. So you can proceed further by looking at the first sentence of all the paragraphs if it is an article, an essay, or a story, one by one. Now this point means that if you are not given a paragraph, if you are given something that is lengthy, like an article, like an essay, or like a story, you can go through them one by one. I mean to say that if there is an article of 4 paragraphs or 5 paragraphs, you can go through these paragraphs by looking at the first lines first, and then reading all the lines one by one afterwards, because all the paragraphs that are there will have their meaning in the first two or three lines. You can take an example of a girl. She is described. Now her physical beauty is described in one paragraph. So they might say that the girl was tall, beautiful, and very attractive. She had long hair and she had beautiful feet. So the first thing is basically letting us know that they are going to talk about the physical beauty. So her features are going to be discussed in the whole paragraph. The next paragraph comes with the things that what does she do. She does she is she is working somewhere, and she is a housekeeper or something, or she is an artist, or she is a student or something. So the first paragraph, the lines of the first paragraph will let you know that what does she do. The next paragraph might be letting us know that she is married, or she has kids, or she has something else, or she is not married, or whatever. तो ये चीज़ें जो हैं ये डिस्कस होती हैं जब आप पैराग्राफ्स को वन बाय वन देखना शुरू करते हैं, क्योंकि पैराग्राफ को पैराग्राफ से अलग करने का मकसद ही यही होता है कि आप एक पैराग्राफ के अंदर एक चीज़ डिस्कस हो, उसके बाद नेक्स्ट पैराग्राफ के अंदर उसी से रिलेटेड कोई और चीज़ डिस्कस होगी, और फिर थर्ड पैराग्राफ में कोई और चीज़ डिस्कस होगी। पैराग्राफ्स बेसिकली बनाने का मकसद ये होता है कि हम किसी चीज़ को जो है वो डिफरेंट पार्ट्स को किसी चीज़ के अलग अलग डिफ़ाइन करना चाह रहे हैं। द ग्रेजुअल नॉलेज विल बी इंक्रीज थ्रू इट। इस चीज़ का मतलब ये है कि ग्रेजुअल नॉलेज जो है वो आफ्टरवर्ड्स इंक्रीज कैसे होगी, बिकॉज व्हेन यू विल रीड द फर्स्ट टू और थ्री लाइन्स ऑफ द पैराग्राफ, you will know the idea that what is discussed in the paragraph. Now after reading the first two or three lines, when you will read the rest of the lines, there will be a gradual knowledge that will be increased through it. Now the next point is how you are going to answer the reading comprehension questions in your exams. Better knowledge of vocabulary makes reading comprehension better. If you have a better vocabulary, you will have a better knowledge of the reading whatever comprehension that is given there. So you need to focus on your vocabulary and improve your vocabulary. For this, what you need to do is wherever you read something that is difficult to you, or there is a word which is unknown to you, or there is a word which is difficult for you, always go to Google, always go for a dictionary, find the meaning over there, come back to your book and write it down on the pages. This is a three term practice. You read a word, you try to guess the meaning, you cannot guess the meaning, you go back to the dictionary, you find out the meaning from there, you come back to the book, and then you start writing that meaning on that difficult word. तो इस तरह से जो है वो आपको कभी भूलेगा नहीं जब आप लिखेंगे इसको. For this, you can keep a dictionary aside always and evaluate yourself continuously after reading text. हमेशा अपने आप को evaluate करें कि if you are reading a text, how far you are understanding it. How many parts were difficult to you? Mark them. And how many parts were easily understood? So difficult parts can be reread, or difficult parts can be discussed with other friends, or difficult part can be reread after some other time, so that when your mind is fresh, you're going to get a good idea of that difficult part. Now you need to identify the areas through which you can improve your reading comprehension. First is concentration, next is vocabulary, and the next one is reading speed. The best way to improve all these areas are consistent practice that is required to improve yourself. The next useful tips can be given to you so that you can keep them in your mind while solving the answers. ये वाला सारा पार्ट जो है ये उन टिप्स पर है कि आप किस तरह से जो है वो आंसर का सोल्यूशन निकाल सकते हैं इन अ वेरी क्विक वे. First of all, you need to find out the answers that are starting questions that are starting with WH, such as who, what, where, how, why, and when. This will help you that whatever you have read, either it is about a man or a thing or a place, these all words will be related to the nouns who, what, where, how, and when. All these things will talk about a noun, and you can get them easily through reading the paragraph. And you must be knowing that who is talked about, where is he standing, where is he going, why is he doing that, when was he born, और how does he look. तो ये सारे questions जो हैं ये आसान होते हैं. You need to look for their answers first in the paragraph. The next point is try to visualize a passage to remember it and retain it. Now, visualization is an important part of reading or writing comprehension. When you start imagining something that you are reading, that creates a picture in your mind and that makes it better to understand, and it helps the reader to understand in a better way because आप उसको visualize करना शुरू कर देते हैं, आप उस दुनिया में खो जाते हैं जिसको आप पढ़ रहे होते हैं. Then you start yourself like reconnecting with the passage जो आपने पढ़ा होता है, फिर वो mental picture जो होती है वो आपको help करती है ताकि आप उसको अच्छे तरीके से जो है वो understand कर सकें. The next point is how to organize the information that is there in the reading passage. For this I have written a line that organize information in an acronym form or a flow chart or a simple list of points that are important. What you need to do is always keep a pen or a paper with you. When you start reading a passage, always either underline the passage or the main points in the passage or write them down on a paper. Writing them down in a paper will save your time and it will give you some practice of writing those words which are difficult, writing all those important phrases that are there, writing that information that you find is important. And then आपको बार बार जो है वो उस पैराग्राफ की तरफ जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. जब आप अपने हाथ से एक दफ़ा लिख लेंगे कि आपने क्या इन्फॉर्मेशन पुट इन की है उस पूरे पैराग्राफ के अंदर, क्या इन्फॉर्मेशन फाइंड की है और उसको जो है वो पुट इन किया है अपने पेपर के ऊपर, तो दैट इज़ गोइंग टू डबल योर मेमोरी. That is going to save your time as well, and it will rid you from reading the passage again and again. The next part is focus on the questions that are asked for comprehension. Always go for the questions that are given in the comprehension passages. Now, some people have this complaint that they have a weak memory. If they have a weak memory and they forget the information that is given there in the paragraph, there is no need to get panic. You just need to focus on the questions that are asked. You need not to remember the entire passages. You need to read the questions first. For this, you need to read the questions first because when you start reading the questions first, they try to help you to get the answers in a better way. Because if you're looking for the answers, आपने पहले से questions पढ़े हुए हैं तो आपको थोड़ा सा आपके mind में होगा कि क्या क्या चीज़ find out करनी है. But one thing you need to keep it in your mind is that you are not going to look for the options. अगर आपके पास मल्टीपल चॉइस क्वेश्चंस है रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन पैसेज के आखिर में और आपके पास लिखा हुआ है कि हु डिड दिस और उसमें 4 क्वेश्चन आज ऑप्शंस हैं, तो obviously 3 of them will be incorrect and only 1 will be correct. So you should not look at the options. If you will look at the options, that your mind will get distracted. So you need to save your mind from distraction and then you can go on to the passage directly to look for the answers of all those options. नेक्स्ट इज़ द रोल ऑफ कॉन्शियस एंड सबकॉन्शियस माइंड वाइल रीडिंग. अब आपका कॉन्शियस और सबकॉन्शियस माइंड जो है वो रीडिंग के लिए बहुत अहम किरदार अदा करता है. व्हेन यू स्टार्ट लुकिंग फॉर द क्वेश्चंस इन द बिगिनिंग बिफोर रीडिंग द पैसेज, व्हाट हैपन्स इज़ दैट योर माइंड स्टोर्स देम इन द सबकॉन्शियस पार्ट. आपका माइंड जो है वो क्वेश्चंस को सबकॉन्शियस पार्ट के अंदर स्टोर कर लेता है. अब आप कॉन्शियसली रीड करना शुरू कर देते हैं पैसेज को, तो जैसे जैसे आप रीड करते जा रहे होते हैं तो पैसेज के अंदर जो क्वेश्चंस आ रहे होते हैं या जो इन्फॉर्मेशन दी हुई होती है, सबकॉन्शियस माइंड जो है वो अपने माइंड में स्टोर किए हुए क्वेश्चंस के साथ उस इन्फॉर्मेशन को रिलेट करना शुरू कर देता है, और इस तरह आप जल्दी से या क्विकली जो है वो आंसर्स फाइंड आउट कर लेते हैं. दिस इज़ हाउ द माइंड रिस्पॉन्स नेचुरली व्हेन यू ऑलरेडी नो व्हाट यू आर लुकिंग फॉर. यानी आपको ऑलरेडी पता है कि आपने क्या क्वेश्चंस देखे हैं और उनके क्या आंसर्स आपने फाइंड करने हैं, तो माइंड जो है वो नेचुरली जल्दी रिस्पॉन्ड करना शुरू कर देता है. Now there are three critical areas to work on. The three critical areas that you need to work on are concentration, vocabulary and reading speed. अगर आप इन तीन चीज़ों पे काम करेंगे तो your reading comprehension will be improving day by day. Now I would like to say thank you to everybody because अगर आप रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन के लिए एक पैराग्राफ्स देखना चाहेंगे तो द बिगिनिंग ऑफ योर बुक देयर आर सम पैराग्राफ्स एंड दे हैव सम क्वेश्चंस ओवर देयर, सो यू नीड टू प्रैक्टिस दोज पैराग्राफ्स दैट आर गिवन देयर इन योर कोर्स एंड इवेलुएट योरसेल्फ कंसिस्टेंटली फॉर betterment or improvement. Thank you so much. I would see you in the next lecture tomorrow inshallah. Allah Hafiz.